Just come watch the show. You know what to do. Just jump in the queue. It's coming to you. So what you gonna do? All in the queue. It's coming to you. All in the queue. Just check out the view. All in the queue. Watch the show, to know what to do. Just jump in the queue, it's all up to you. So what you gonna do? All in the queue, it's all up to you. All in the queue, it's check out the view. All in the queue.
One thing for sure and two things for certain is I'm never gonna hear you out if what I'm hearing is stupid. I'm not going to hear that. I'm not going to receive that. That's not my ministry. A lot of y'all sit and give too much of y'all time and effort to people who don't deserve it. Why would you be listening to somebody telling you that 2 + 2 is 92 when you know it's not? That is a waste of my time. It's not of the kingdom. It's not. And I would not subject myself to foolishness, okay? Because I don't like to consider myself to be foolish, so I don't want to sit with it. No, it ain't nothing we can do. We done talking. I'm done talking. I'm done listening as well. Yeah, so I don't know who needs to hear that. I hope it reaches you and I hope it touches your spirit. Stop entertaining foolishness. Because people will start seeing you as foolish or somebody to be played with. And I don't like to be played with. Go play Atari. Go play some spades. But don't play with me. All right, love you. Bye. One thing for sure and two things.
What's up? What's up? What's up? It is your girl Super. If you would, please like, share, and subscribe. Let everybody know that the super producer is on. I hope you guys are having a good day today. We're going to do the Thornton Township recap first because I believe it's going to be the shorter of the two recaps. The Harvey recap we'll end up doing tomorrow. I got a little bit more information and things that I would like to share as it relates to Harvey. And so we're going to do the Harvey recap tomorrow. We're going to do the Thornton Township recap today because it will be the shorter of the two recaps. And we're just going to jump right into it with whoever we have in here. Let me make sure I speak to everyone that is speaking. French Wrench, what's up with ya? Hey, Wyoming gal, that's our favorite gal. Jim C, how are you? And hello to everyone that is just here to look or here to find out what I'm going to say and go report it to whoever and do whatever. Good afternoon to you as well. All right. So the first thing I want to, hold on one second. I need to grab a paper. Give me one second. All right. I needed to grab my agenda from last night. All right, so because these agendas are never on the website, let's actually bring up the website. By the way, these agendas are still only going to the Lansing Journal, and I don't know if they're going to the Harvey World, but they're going to the Lansing Journal. I am not a person who goes to the Lansing Journal. I don't go to their website. I don't go to their YouTube channel. And it's more so because of the way that the condescending manner in which I was treated when I had one of them on my live. And I believe it was the last meeting that I had one of them on my live. acting as if I was giving some one-sided or personal reporting when I was simply stating the facts of what we had seen over the course of Tiffany Henyard's administration as it relates to Thornton Township. I did not say anything that we did not see and that was not true. French wrench, we about to get to that. That's why I went to grab my agenda. And so I do not understand why these agendas cannot be posted on the website as Loretta used to do and then sent to them or however it is. But it should be posted for the public to be able to access on the website. Everyone should be able to access it. It should not just be sent to certain people. That should be something that's standard across the board. For me, I'm over it. This is the audit section of the Thornton Township website. As you can see, 2023 is the only one that's here. The comprehensive financial report that we got a presentation about last night is still not here on the website. And so, and you know, the thing for me about that situation is a few things. The first thing is, how do you pass a budget and you did not have this report first? So what you're saying to me and to the public is that you made a budget for 2025 and you actually passed the budget for 2025 without even having this comprehensive report from which to do so. That is alarming, right? Irregardless of who is doing the financial report, not having that information from which to make your projections or your budget for the next year is pretty concerning to me, because how do you do that without this information? As I've stated before, the Kasperick CPA firm was involved in a lot of questionable behavior, not just in Dalton. I mean, not just at the township, but in Dalton as well. For that reason, why should they be involved in any financial conversation currently? There have been excuses about there's an FBI investigation currently going on. I don't see what that has to do with them being able to answer questions of the FBI, even if they are not the CPA firm for the township. What they do as it relates to the FBI and answering questions and giving you information about the current status of the finances for the township, it has nothing to do with anything. Because if they don't give you information, then their CPA licenses should be snatched, because they have a fiduciary duty to do so. And if they do not, then their licenses should be snatched. Their livelihood should be threatened for not doing so. The courtesy of Lansing Journal seems to went to hell with Tiffany removal, in my opinion. You know, they claim to not be biased. I don't feel that or see that, but go off. And so, no, I have not received an email from Robert Hunt before I started this broadcast. I did call his office and leave a message for him, reminding him the mere fact that we just had a meeting last night and I have to remind you today after I put my email in your phone in the notes section of your phone, which you probably deleted and didn't even care about, which is fine with me. I asked you for a copy before we left. You could have emailed it before we left the meeting as to not have to worry about it today if you're absent minded. My thing is the level of professionalism that we are accepting from our own community. That is an issue for me. It's not them, it's us. It's not them, it is us. What we require should be at a higher level. Anyway, moving on. It's not here on the website, as you can see. I'm going to go and see if the agenda made it up here. Wow. You can't even get into the website. Ah, Lord have mercy. Let's see if I can. Oh, just stop sharing on its own. Let's see if we can share it again. StreamYard said to hell with it because they not doing right anyhow. Hilarious. Okay, let's try it again. We'll see if the agenda was loaded on here. Now you can't even now you see I'm trying to access the website, so you can't even access the website. Fix it, Jesus. I just showed you what happened. So maybe they are loading the comprehensive financial report right now as we speak, and the website is down because of that. But I showed it to you in real time, so whatever. Okay, this is going weird. We voted for this man, and all of a sudden he's moving quite weird. And I'm still going to question, where do the trustees stand out of all of this? As you should. So that there were things in the comprehensive financial report that were questionable to me. I'm going to go to the meeting. These meetings are still being recorded. Let's just take note of some things that are still happening, even while Tiffany is no longer in office, right? So you can't blame Tiffany for the things that are going on now because she is no longer in office, right? So these meetings are still being recorded and not broadcasted or put on the website for the residents to view. That is still going on currently. Okay, French Ranch, I will in a few minutes. I'm over that right now because it wasn't there when I looked earlier anyway. And I shouldn't have to do all of that. I mean, but anyway. Lord. Y'all stand by 1 second because I just got a message. Hold on 1 second, okay? Let me play something and I will be right back.
Oh, y'all, excuse me, because you know how much I hate to interrupt your scroll. So let me hurry up and get through this, because you can go back to do what you got to do, and I can go back to doing what I got to do. And I made an illustration just to make it easier for everybody. All right? This is me, and this is you. Okay? And this could be a family, friend, co-worker, alone in the world with a little cat dog. I don't care who it is, to whom it may concern. However, when we get together, it is now us. You know what always gets me is when we first start out, it's always cool, calm, and collected. I like it that way. But somewhere along the lines,
All right, here we go. I am going to okay. So back to what I was saying. These meetings are still being recorded and not broadcast, but they are. They are still not on the website. You're still not able to access any of the recordings or any of the meetings. And that really has nothing to do with Tiffany because she's no longer in office, right? They now have control of the website and can post and do and put things on the website, transparency things on the website as they see fit. And so those things are still not there. The reason I wanted this comprehensive report, and once I do receive it or it does get on the website, which either one comes first or second, we're going to go over it because there were some things that really alarmed me that were said by the representative from Casper. We're going to go to the public comment first. There was only one public comment. There was two public comments. I'm sorry. And so we're going to skip to the public comment. And then we'll address something at the end of this broadcast. I will give my overall thoughts. Okay, so this is Nate. Nate was there last night. The room was rather empty. I believe that is the goal. I'll just get to it now. I believe that is the goal. The goal of the supervisor, and this is my opinion. Allegedly, I feel like the goal of the supervisor is to make it so that people do not come to the meetings because he is not appearing. The mere thought that you became a local politician, because supervisor of a township is a local politician. It is a politician that actually touches the people. They actually speak to the people. Senators are not local politicians. They are for the state, right? So they represent a lot of different places, right? As far as their reach, and they go to, downstate to Springfield to represent a myriad of people. And so they're not as easily reachable or, touchable. You can't really talk to them, as you would be able to talk to a supervisor of a township that is a local, because you can actually talk to that person. But to take a position on a local level as a public servant and then create an environment to where people do not want to participate in their government at a time when the Civil Rights Act of 1965 is at jeopardy for our community and the communities that you represent is a very abysmal thing. You lack character, in my opinion, if that is what you're doing. If you are creating an environment to where people who look like you, which you represent, as to cause them to not participate in their government because of your behavior, you are the problem. You are the problem that is wrong with this community, with our community as a whole. Because why should we trust you to represent us on a larger scale when you refuse to represent us on a local scale? Hello, Strawberry. Hello, Deb Hill. Welcome. Why should we trust you with those duties as a senator if you are creating an environment at the local level as to where we do not want to participate in that in our government at a time when the Voting Rights Act of 1965 is at stake. There should be an excitement about government at this point in time in history. We should be encouraging everyone to participate in government at the rate at which we are losing a lot of our benefits. SNAP benefits or link benefits, EBT benefits, whatever you want to call them, healthcare. Come November 1st is open enrollment for Obamacare, and people are not going to be able to afford the premiums. People specifically in this state and in a list of other states are not going to be able to afford the health care premiums and will lose access to health care. But yet at the local level, we have a supervisor who is willingly, knowingly avoiding the public and is essentially being helped by the board. Do I feel like last night when I was leaving the meeting, there was a government Tahoe outside of the meeting, which led me to believe that Mr. Harris was in the building, but was refusing to come down to the meeting. Christopher Clark used to do this it was like at the beginning of this year. He used to be in the back at City Hall, and he would make the senior trustee or the senior alder person run the meeting while he was sitting in the back because he wanted to avoid public comment. He wanted to avoid the public. And the reason why I can tell you that I know he was in the building because and starting this year, Illinois is doing its own affordable health care insurance separate from the rest of the states, which I hope it is something that is affordable, Candia. I hope it is premiums at which all Illinoisans will be able to afford, right? Because if you make $80,000 a year and it's going to cost you $50,000 a year for health care, that is more than half of your take-home income. So that's something that I will be watching closely as well, right? Because you still can't survive if they don't come up with something that makes sense. So we'll see how that goes. So, and I can tell you how I know that this man was in the building last night, but refusing and disrespecting the residents by not coming down and appearing in the meeting is because if you noticed at the last meeting when he joined by video, which they did not vote to let him do so. Yes, they did not vote to let him do so. That's one reason that leads me to believe he's been in the building, because why are you not voting? That's basic procedure that you have to vote to allow him to join via any type of electronic Zoom or by phone. There was also a security guard posted at the end of the table, whereas the previous meeting, and I'll show you, there was no security guard posted there. Security is only there when he is there. I don't know what this imminent threat is or who or what is happening, but the public is not being told what the threat is or who the threat is. Why would it go up? I thought the end of the expansion would just go back to 2021. No, all that has changed, Wyoming gal. Candia, I hope, I'm going to be watching that closely, and I hope that's something that they do so that, where, the state of Illinois and its residents are not caught up in this ever again. That would be great. That would be so great. Right? So hopefully this is something that they can pull off. They took a lot of things out of the budget, the state budget this year, so we shall see. And so for me, if the board knows that he's in the building but he's not coming to the meetings, someone should speak to that. Someone should say why. If it is a situation where you're afraid that some sort of ruckus or something is going to break out, then we should be told. As it stands right now, then the meetings that he did attend, nothing happened. So I don't understand where this invisible or this threat came from. Nothing has happened. There has been plenty of security in a building, but nothing has happened. People just want to voice their opinion and be heard. That's it. This speaks to why people do not vote. This speaks to why people do not get involved in their government. Because it is apathetic to the people who put them in the seats. Yeah, Candia. Because I was watching The Hill today, where someone mentioned that the United States was compared to a third world country when it comes to healthcare, because we cannot get it figured out on how to give equal health care to every U.S. citizen. Canada has it figured out. Europe has it figured out. China has it figured. How is it that we, as a progressive country, a superpower no less, cannot get health care for all Americans figured out? I'll tell you why. Because pharmaceuticals is big business. And the billionaires of this country are stakeholders. That's why. Because making equal health care for everyone in this country means that that's not a cash cow anymore. It means that I don't increase my billionaire wealth any longer. This country has become disgusting. Anyway, my curiosity is, does anyone on the board know, or does everyone know, that Mr. Harris is in the building during these meetings but not coming physically because he does not want to face the public? Why? Because as a senator, he's never had to face the public, and he's never had to face opposition or derogatory comments on a local level, because he's never had to be in a meeting with us face to face. When he comes to do his fundraising, he's only there for photo ops. And if you're talking, he's never looking at you. He's always looking somewhere else. And he's always ready to snap a picture even when you're talking. The disrespect. But this is what our vote does. It puts people like that in these seats. Hey, Foxy too, Roxy. We should be able to do better with healthcare. Although Canada isn't perfect, it's great if you are healthy. But if you have health issues, good luck. You know, for me, Wyoming gal, they all have health coverage. So what they do is they bring their Canadian health coverage and they get serviced over here in the United States. So they go to John Hopkins. They will go to Duke. They will go and get health care here because their country has provided them with health care, and they will go where the care is the level that they need or what they need. So, I mean, I do see a lot of that. I see a lot of that. But anyway, I didn't get want to get stuck there. Um, but that's how you know that he's in the building. There was a security guard posted at the table. In the last meeting, there was no security guard at the table because he was not there. I'll show you later. But we're gonna hear the comment again. The comprehensive financial report that was given by John Kasperg. There were some alarming things said, and we are going to look at those things here in this broadcast, and then we're going to move on.
At this time, we're going to have Pastor Bowman do the invocation and prayer.
Our Father and our God, we thank you on this evening.
I'm gonna fast forward through this prayer because I can't do it.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Now, as we know, tonight is the last board meeting before the scheduled cutoff of EBT and SNAP benefits for many families across Illinois. We have residents right here at Thornton Township who are deeply worried about how they're going to put food on the table. So my question and my request is directed at the supervisor, Napoleon Harris. Given that you earn a substantial salary, all right, over $200,000 a year, we know much of that salary may not circulate back into our community, but I'm asking you, what concrete steps will you take to support those families in our township who are about to lose this crucial assistance? Can we hear a commitment from you tonight on how the township leadership plans to step up for our most vulnerable residents? Thank you.
Okay, so Nate came in and he was talking about November 1st, if the shutdown continues, the SNAP EBT link benefits will be cut off to a myriad of states. A lot of families, not just families, but senior citizens depend on that government program in order to put food in their households. And because the township is supposed to be services, right? This is the reason he's asking the question. I want to give you a few facts because I've heard so many hold on one second. I've heard so many, I don't believe EBT gonna be cut for all. Well, right now, French Wrench, it'll be cut until they either do some emergency funding, or until the government opens back up. I want to give you some want to give you some realistic numbers. Okay? Because we are hearing a lot of things. I mean, a lot of ugly things. And you're going to get information over here. This is not necessarily dramatic or exciting. I'm just going to give you the facts. I'm going to give you the truth. That's all I have. So what I want to do is give you some facts, because I've seen a lot of these Republicans on these TikToks and on these things saying, get off your fat bleep ghetto bleep and get a job. This is what I heard when I was preparing for this recap. I do a lot of research. And this is what I heard watching these videos of these Republicans. There are even some of my community saying, get off your fat ghetto, you know what, ASS, and get a job. This is hilarious to me, because I'm going to give you a little bit of truth about me, because you can never shame me. Okay? You can never shame me with anything in my past. Nothing. So if you want to set out to go out and look me up, since people have doxed my name, listen, do your best work, because I'm going to come back and I'm going to let you know the real, the truth, the lowdown. I'm going to tell you. I was a school bus driver and I worked part-time. So I was considered a part-time worker as a bus driver, even though I was pulling in full-time hours sometimes by picking up field trips and trips on the weekends. Because as a bus driver, you can pick up work on Saturday and Sunday. Okay? But I was still considered part-time, so no health coverage. So I was on Medicaid. I also worked a part-time job. I picked up a part-time job at Amazon that was Saturdays and Sundays only. And still was just barely paying all of my bills. My rent, my light, my electric, my cable, my phone, and food. Okay? I received SNAP benefits during that time, but they go based off what you make. So as the cost of food rises, they don't give you more SNAP. They still base it off of what you make. So lots of people out here are receiving SNAP benefits that only supplement, because you buy the food, right? The prices are high. You still have to get more food at some point, even though all of your SNAP may be gone. Okay? So let's look at some truth here. Okay? Because all of the videos from the Republicans are saying, get off your fat, ghetto, black bleep and get a job. What does this say right here? Let me tell you what I looked up. SNAP broken down by race. It says white participants make up the largest share of SNAP recipients at approximately 37%, followed by African Americans at 26%. And Hispanic individuals are roughly 16%. Other groups include Asians at 4% and Native Americans at approximately 1%, with about 17% of participants being listed as race unknown. That could be your mixed race people. That could be them. It is important to note that while SNAP recipients reflect the nation's diverse population, some racial and ethnic minority groups, such as Black and Native American households, are more likely to rely on SNAP benefits compared to their share of the general population. I don't see how that could be true when 37% of SNAP recipients are white. Hey, Master G, who is this? Hey, Gardis, what's up? He said, Master G said, SP, please watch some of these people. I seen one telling a Black YouTuber they should vote Republican, as if you don't see their BS bigotry in some mods or different channels, including Lil Daryl. I don't give a damn about none of these bigots. Listen. Nobody is going to tell me how to vote. I don't care about these Republicans because they don't care about me. You see all the people that was out there screaming coming from our community did not get not one seat at the table. Not one. Not one appointment, not one cabinet seat, not one head of nothing. You got head of stupidity. I'm an independent voter. I'm neither Democrat nor Republican. I made my decision based on your track record, based on your resume, based on who you are, based on who you gather yourself around. That's how I base my vote. But I just read it to you. SNAP recipients are what? Mainly white, 37%. So when you're telling somebody to get off their fat ghetto, make sure you put white after that ghetto. Huh? Make sure you do that. Because these are the facts. Okay? The facts are that African Americans as a whole, we know how to survive when you don't give us anything. We'll take dust and survive. This is why I was telling people that this no kings thing, right? You need to, half of the people out there didn't even know that why they were out there. They thought they were out there because this is about the immigrants. No, this at a larger scale is an attack on the Constitution. It is an attack on people that don't look white. This is an attack on that. This is an attack on your constitutional rights. So the Mexicans are a test run to see if they can be able to attack a larger population, which would be my community, but attack us with the law. Because as this dictator is going along, he's testing the limits of the law. And he is thereby changing some laws on the books. He is changing how the judges are going to react in this similar situation when he begins to attack us. Why didn't he go right at us? Because we've been here before, and fighting is what we do. And we are too large of a population for him to attack right now without having some sort of judicial footing. So when you are out there protesting and when you are out there supporting, make sure you know that you're out there for your own reasons. And what those reasons are. I'm out here because this is an attack on the Constitution. Illegal or legal, they have a constitutional right once they step on this soil to due process, period. How are you being rounded up by ICE agents by someone who is an immigrant themselves? They came over here fleeing a king that they said was oppressing them to a country or a soil that already had natives here. This is not an attack on immigrants. This is an attack on people as a whole. for the billionaires and the millionaires to be able to control, first of all, who's in charge in this country, and second of all, who can come into this country. But this is what some people voted for, even though he told you this is what he was going to do. And it still baffles and behooves me to sit there and listen to people from the Black community saying that Trump has done a lot for the Black community. I would like to know where, when, and how. Aren't those the questions that when we was going through grade school, the teacher said we should ask when investigating something? I want to know the where, the when, and the how of how this man has done anything for our community. See, what he did was he set you up in his first presidency. He gave you these checks. He sent money, appropriate money for Black businesses, small business owners. So he had you fooled into voting for him the second time because he did those things the first time. So you thought in your mind that that is something that he would do again. Not even knowing that Project 2025 was something that was already done under Project 2019. See, we got to stop saying we don't want to know things or we don't want to participate things or politics isn't my thing. Yeah, when you find yourself on the other side of politics and it's not in your favor, that's when you're going to be wondering what happened. Gardas, please tell them. Because the reality is he is trying to redistrict us out of being able to participate in our government. Because we will no longer have representation if this redistricting of the congressional districts happen. We will go from 62 Black people in Congress to 30. By 2028, there will be 2035 or 32, there will be zero Black people in Congress if this redistricting happens. And if the Voting Rights Act of 1965 is able to be struck down. We better start dealing with reality here. And it really starts on this local level of government. We have to start expecting more from the people that we put in office to represent us. If you don't believe your vote matters, look at what just happened. I'll wait till after the second comment to continue my thoughts about some other things about the town.
Was Sharon Carter. Sorry if I brought this one up. Good evening. Okay, I'm here tonight, kind of what Mr. Fields was speaking of for one, and what's most urgent to me is the property taxes. They're still going up, and I'm just having them together and kind of, or are we just waiting for a bill to pass? As we drive through our communities, we see more and more homes are for sale, which I would believe many of them are due to the property tax increase, and it is now becoming unaffordable for individuals. Stores got a tax cut, well, I won't say stores, but businesses got a tax cut, residents got it nothing except an increase. And as I stated, they're going up and up. So I'm concerned about that as I see more and more homes, and then you can talk to different administrators, mayors or whatever, And they seem to be not concerned for one, and don't want to admit that these homes that are for sale and vacant are due to the property taxes. And then on that note, I was going to ask again, what would be our plans as far as to support our residents? Because we are in a moral crisis now. You know, as he stated, the EBT is going to get cut off. And what's going to happen to these families, and what is the plans for them? Will the food bank be open? Will it be able to provide food for the individuals? And just what are we going to do? I'm a belief of that at this time, it has to be more of a community, and we have to support one another during this immoral time. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Harrison, closes.
Okay, that was Miss Carter, and I love her. She's always at the meetings. She's made a fair amount of comments. And she also talked about the taxes. She talked about housing people, and people are putting their houses up for sale in Illinois at a rapid rate. Okay. In Will County and in Cook County, in DuPage County, in all of these counties, these houses are going up for sale. And let me explain something to people who are not homeowners, right? So y'all let me know if y'all can still hear me, because I feel like something weird is happening. I can't even see. Hold on. I feel like something weird is happening. Okay, sounds good. Every time I do this, something computer be acting funky because they don't want y'all to hear this information. Anyway, as long as you guys can hear me, that's all that matters. All right. I'm gonna try to get my, because right now I can't see y'all. Okay. So anyway, that was Miss Carter. And if I'm not mistaken, she worked for CPS, the Chicago Public School System formerly. I don't know what she does now, but I know that she was concerned about the SNAP benefits and things because she has an elderly person that she takes care of. Just got a letter from my mortgage company anticipating a higher tax rate for the next cycle, so more will be added to my mortgage again. And it's going to continue to happen. It's going to continue to happen as long as we have the leaders of these municipalities and these townships not trying to do things for the betterment of the residents. While we go through this next 4 years with this Republican president in office and him doing some oppressive things, and it's really about the millionaires and the billionaires. While we go through that, if we don't have leaders in place in these local positions that are trying to work together to say, how do we serve these residents, right? It is just like the lady in the Harvey meeting said, when you, in your household budget, when you start experiencing some lack, like lack of funds coming in, that means you have to cut what's going out. So you may have to stop doing things like having a movie night, having a pizza night, buying some luxury items, shopping less. Right? One thing I'm afraid for these younger generation, like Nate's age and stuff, because Nate was like, we don't know how to survive without SNAP benefits. I said, Father God, because for me, I just said, oh, well, I'll just pop back into what I used to do when I was homeless, right? When I was on Section 8 and I was receiving SNAP benefits and stuff like that. What I used to do is I used to make spaghetti, make enough spaghetti, last 2 days. You have leftovers the next day, right? Make a pot of soup, eat that for 2 days, right? All of these survival tips that my grandmother taught me, all of those things coming together, right? Maybe if you have, I don't have any family in this area, but if you have family in this area, then you all getting together and doing family meals, right? One night, this household cook and we go over there. Or we you just come pick up your pan of food for your household. We are going to have to learn how to get along with each other and just to make it through this time. And so I'm telling you guys, hold on, my computer is doing something so funky. Hold on 1 second. Lord have mercy.
Oh, y'all, excuse me, because you know how much I hate to interrupt your scroll. So let me hurry up and get through this, because you can go back to do what you got to do, and I can go back to doing what I got to do. And I made an illustration just to make it easier for everybody. All right? This is me, and this is you. Okay? And this could be a family, friend, co-worker, alone in the world with a little cat dog. I don't care who it is, to whom it may concern. However, when we get together, it is now us. You know what always gets me is when we first start out, it's always cool, calm, and collected. I like it that way. But somewhere along the lines, you realize, this is you once again, realizing that you like to play games. Okay?
Okay, my whole screen was black and I couldn't see you guys. Okay. So those are the things that you need to do. Let me tell, you some of the younger generation that you're afraid or whatever, your SNAP benefits are going to stop or whatever. Let me tell you, go to that Walmart app. Go to that Walmart app. They have a section there that has low-cost meals. How do you make low-cost meals? They give you the list, the grocery list to pick up in Walmart. They had so many things in there that I went and picked up everything. They had a $5.89 meal. It was a whole meal, and it only cost $5.89. Okay? Go use your Walmart app. Matter of fact, let me just show you. Because I want to leave you here with some nuggets, especially for the younger generation. I don't want you to be on TikTok crashing out. I done seen so many crash out videos. This doesn't make no sense. I don't even understand why we are having these crash out videos. But anyway, y'all are, so. But there is a section here. I'm going to show you. This is my Walmart app. There is a section under there that says dinner made easy. Click it. When you go there, it has family meals under $10. It has recipes for $5 per serving. It has pantry staples for $1. All of this right here give you recipes and everything. Yeah. That's what you're going to have to do. That's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to budget whatever extra money that you will have for food. You can get on the budget billing for ComEd if you're out here in Illinois. I don't know if you're watching me from somewhere else. I don't know if the energy service provider you have this thing called budget billing. I'm on it, and you pay one set price every month, no matter what you use. And then at the end of the year, if they owe you money, They give it to you. SP, my aunt has worked all of her life being very successful. She is retired. Her taxes are now through the roof and she has EBT. I will make sure she doesn't need for anything, but this is reality. It definitely is. Hey, H-Bag, how are you? Lots of people are finding themselves in these situations that they've never been in before. You know, people unlike myself, I've been in a lot of situations. I've been homeless, right? At one point, they told me I made too much to even get some EBT or SNAP or Link or whatever you want to call it. So I had to do things like this, find apps like this, find recipes like this, and make my money stretch. And this is what you will have to do. You should not be out here making crash out videos about some government assistance. There's loads of pantries out here that you can participate in as well. They are going to be overrun, so you better get there early. Be prepared to stand in line if you don't get there early. If you single moms out there, team up with another single mom. You all split. One person buy meat, the other person buy perishables, non-perishables. And then you can trade. You can say, I bought a whole bunch of these. Coupon. Do the double coupon stuff. We got to go back to the basics. These taxes, crazy for us homeowners. We are going to see a lot more blight and a lot more abandoned homes because people are getting out of Illinois and they're going to cheaper states. That's what it is. We are going to see a lot more of this. And it seems like to me, and this is just me, I don't know if anybody else is noticing this while I bring back up the video, that the township has become more of a employment agency than it has a services agency. Because the meeting before this one, they voted to get an analyst. Well, you know, as much as I don't like Tiffany, and she was not good for the residents, she didn't need no analyst when she was there. Also, so this time, they voted for a deputy clerk. I don't even know specifically if that was done correctly. Were they supposed to vote to be able to hire a deputy clerk first and then hire the deputy clerk? Was it posted on the website for people to apply? Because last night they appointed a deputy clerk. I think her name is Pamela Harris, and no slight to her. But are the processes, the correct processes, being followed? These are the things that people were yelling about when Tiffany was in office, that she's not following the process. Is that being followed? But now we've added another salary. That comprehensive report was startling to me. For a township that is supposed to deliver services to the residents, it spends more in salaries than it does in services. It spends $12 million plus in salaries and only $4 million. Well, if you add up all of the other categories, maybe it's $8 million in services. And you have, now they voted next year to go to one meeting a month, but they are still paying the supervisor $200,000 for the year. People who left Illinois was mostly going to Texas. Are they still going there? If not, what is the other destination spot for Illinois? So Gardis, they are still going to Texas. A lot of them are starting to migrate over to, Tennessee and Mississippi and Alabama and those areas because it is cheaper to live. The taxes are cheaper. Right now, their groceries are not as much as ours, but, in some ways they are. The eggs are the same everywhere, if you ask me. ISP, they did post a job description for the deputy clerk on their website. They did not. So do so for the data analyst position they approved. Interesting. Well, I'm glad that they posted the deputy clerk position and they found the right candidate. But is that the right move with everything that is going on right now in this country at the federal level, when the township is supposed to be for services and not salaries? I'm going to tell you what my grandma used to tell me and my father when I was growing up. It's tight, but it's right. You might not like what I have to say on this broadcast, and I'm fine with that. I have resigned myself to people don't like me, and that's the way I'm going to resign myself to it, and I'm fine with it. I don't really care about it anymore, because now you're talking about my quality of life and my children's quality of life. Right now, we are going into an era where you're not going to be able to enjoy or do anything because you're not going to be able to afford to do anything extra. Hey, collectibles for sale by. Hey, how you doing? So that was very scary to see that they spend $12 million on salaries and only $4 million on services. The other thing that I was alarmed by with this financial report was she gave numbers and then she said that there were some practices that were illegal or were not right. We're going to watch what she says. But that means, what if the money, where is the money going to come from if the money that they allocated in the budget that they passed without knowing these things now has to go to paying these debts that weren't supposed to be paid the way they were paid? Or what is going to happen? It's the repercussions for me. There was only 2 public comments in the room of people there just for the meeting. As far as residents, it was myself, Miss Carter, Nate, and 1 other man. And that was it. That was all. Because I believe it is the goal, this is my opinion, of the supervisor to not come to these meetings so that we or the residents do not come to the meeting. Because they're going to say, oh, he's not going to be there. In all actuality, you should come regardless of whether he's there or not. Why are you hanging your hat on one person when there is a board of people that you can address and that you should address? You should address them with your concerns. Bingo is good. Festivals are good, right? Cookouts are good. But when we are in a crisis right now, we should be having money for the seniors to be able to weatherize their homes. We're about to go into winter out here. The senior citizens need to make sure that they have every hole, nook, crevice, crannies of their home insulated for the weather ahead. Some of them, their roofs may need to be checked. Some of their roofs may need to be checked. Some of them may need some windows replaced, right? Some of them may need some holes filled so that raccoons and critters don't get into their homes. And let's talk about that, Gardis. We're going to talk about what it's going to take to do that, right? Because it's either going to take a referendum. A referendum has to be put on the ballot in order for the residents to vote to abolish the township. That's the first thing. You have to find out what the process of that will be under if they have a charter, if they have, what are the rules under the township guidelines in order to abolish. Evanston was the first village to be able to successfully do so. There is another village that is asking to do so by issuing a referendum on their ballot for the residents to vote on to abolish the township. And it has to be put on the ballot. Good luck getting these people to agree to put it on the ballot. You need to know what the steps are for this area. Everybody is not running under the same rules. So you just need to find out what they are. That is something that I may look up, and we may do a show just about that and how to do it and what, how to go about it. But definitely there are two ways to do it. The one way is a referendum on the ballot that the residents would vote on. But, so should we be having any type of bingo, Taste of Thornton Township, any type of parties right now until we find out what is going to happen on November 1st and how many people are going to be affected? What if the pantry is so overrun come November 1st, they run out of food? These are my questions. Has anybody talked about that? Has this been a discussion? Has any of the trustees brought this up in their text thread, in their emails, or whatever they have going on? Has anyone brought that up? That maybe we should temporarily suspend the bingo things until we find out, what we're going to need. The township services 17 municipalities. That is 17 mayors that might have to reach out to the township and ask the township to assist them in offering their residents food or services. But my thing is, we're high on salaries when we're supposed to be high on services. Again, we should be helping the seniors and single moms and single families weatherize their homes at this point. What do you need to weatherize your home so that your electric bills don't skyrocket? Because that's just going to create more situation for people to need help. CETA and everyone that helps, all of these organizations that help with paying of the bills, they are about to be overrun with applications, with people. We're going to see them start cutting off applications, or we don't take applications after 12 because it's been so many people. Say what? We are not thinking. Just because you're okay doesn't mean that everybody is okay. Only 300 people per week, Paul, and there are 17 municipalities, and SNAP benefits are going to be cut off November the 1st. My God. But we're spending $12 million on salaries. Anywho, who am I? I'm nobody. I've been through that a lot these last several weeks. And I'm going to accept that, because if you're sitting at home and you're not participating in your meetings, somebody said, tell her to go to her own meeting. Baby, I do. Baby, I do. I call, I go, and I participate. So I will go anywhere I want to go and anywhere I choose to go. The thing for me is that Dalton and Thornton Township are very important. Why? Because they are represented by people who look like me, where there's people on the federal government level saying that people that look like me don't need to be involved in government. And you down here at this local level looking like a clown, proving they're right. That's how you looking. That's how you got us looking. Because they can make the case. Baby, they can make the case and I wouldn't even be able to say anything. Huh? I would not even be able to say anything because they can make the case. Or they can make the case because look at what you're doing at the local level. I digress, child. Let's see. Let me skip to, they're getting ready to have there's something that I really wanted to point out.
Communication to the board and management, at the end of the audit, we wanted to acknowledge that we did not encounter any significant difficulties or disagreements with management in performing and completing this audit. So included in your big bond report, you will see introductory.
The first comment that she made that they didn't encounter a significant difficulties. Why should you? I'm so confused because you had your hand in most of the finances. So why should you have any difficulties? You was looking at what was going in, what was going out. You were talking to Robert Hunt. So you shouldn't have had any difficulties. I don't even understand that comment or why that was even put into the report. But go off.
Which is going to include your principal officers, your organizational chart, the independent audit report, which is our opinion on the financials, management's discussion and analysis.
This room should have been packed, but because this agenda is not posted on the website as it should be, and it doesn't come out through the Lansing Journal, I think, until maybe the day before the meeting. This meeting should have been packed. Look at all of these things that they were talking about that you couldn't even look at. You couldn't even have in your hand. And when Nate asked the Casper women if he could get a copy, they were like, well, the clerk has it or whoever has it. But why? You should have came here with copies. They paying you enough to. Does the CPA firm work for the residents or do they work for the people on the board? I'm so confused at this point of who people work for. I'm going to go past this because she showed some numbers. We'll get to these property tax numbers and things. I want to get to the salaries. This is where I want to be.
Then you have your highways and streets, which is your road and bridge fund. Some capital outlay, which is your equipment you purchased during the year. And then the debt service, which is just paying the loan that you guys currently have. Expenditures on a 3-year comparison now. In addition, as revenue went down, we will look at expenditures would go down.
Okay,
so
let me go
expenditures
back
decrease.
to salaries because she gave it to us in black and white right here.
This is the assistance you're
right here. General and government. So these are the salaries. $12.8 million on salaries. For the home relief, $4.6 million. Highways, $262,000. There was a loan, that's $1.2 million. It's these salaries. Why should we be salary heavy? We should be services heavy. These are the things, but you need this report. We needed this report to be able to look at it, see it, understand it. I want to skip to something else that she said. They didn't even receive, they have not received any grant revenue this year. That's odd to me because, baby, listen, Tiffany was getting them grants hand over fist. So that's a little bit odd to me. When I get this, when I get the copy that we can go through, I want to specifically talk to where she spoke about the ongoing FBI investigation and some of the monies that was paid or that were used that were not appropriately used. Because how does that affect everything? We know that when Tiffany was in office, Robert Hunt told us first they started out with a $9 million surplus. Then they went down to an $8 million surplus. Then it went down to a $6 million surplus. And now we are at $3.8 million. But is that a surplus? Is it a surplus? We won't know. Thank you. Hey, Trina's bestie. How are you? Thank you so much. Thank you for so much for being here as well. We don't know. We won't know. Okay? This is what they say. I mean, I want to look at these numbers and then look at this budget that they passed. Because is that a realistic budget they working on? How is that going to be affected? Now that this report is out, let me tell you, they didn't, and I'm going to speak up for the trustees right here, every last one of them. They did not have this report before last night because those women came in and they put copies of the report on the table for them. So they didn't even get a chance to look at it before they came to that meeting. And if they said they did, I have a problem right there. Because you should have been asking all kinds of questions of that lady if you got that report before she was there. Now tell me I'm lying. But I saw her put copies on the table for them. So I'm going to say that they didn't have the report beforehand. And even when they saw this on the agenda, somebody should have asked to table it. They should have said, I'd like to make a motion to table this to the next meeting because we are just now getting the report. And I would like to have the ability to go through this report and match it against the budget that we made and see what some of our pitfalls might be. But nobody did that. Nobody asked for that. I have so many questions about the behaviors. I got so many questions because I don't understand it. I do not understand it. And I'm going to say this again. No one wants to see drama. No one wants to see you fight or argue. What they want to see is a healthy debate and that their vote have been used properly, because you are now going to hold yourself and the current supervisor accountable for what is going on. We don't want nobody up there cussing nobody out. We don't want anybody up there yelling at anybody like they're a child. What we want to do is we want to hear that you have questions. We want to hear the answers. We want to hear the thought process. That's what we want to hear so that we can be able to make an appropriate public comment and ask you maybe some appropriate questions, follow-up questions that we may have. For me, this the same circus, a different owner. I said what I said. Same circus, different owner. because you should not be afraid to ask a question or to put something on the floor and say, I make a motion that we table this because we just got this information. We will be doing the residents a disservice if we took this presentation or we watched this presentation and we cannot even ask questions about this presentation. But that wasn't done. So I'm going to be interested to find out once we match up whatever they have in these reports to this budget that they passed, and what are the pitfalls? How could what Tiffany did affect the budget that they passed without having this report? Where are we going to be lacking? Because it definitely ain't going to be in them salaries. Huh? And I said that Dalton and Thornton Township is important because you all rose up against what you called a dictatorship government. You took back your government. The world is watching you because now the Republicans are saying we should not be in charge anyway. We should not even be represented at this point. If they redistrict, that's what they're saying, that we should not be represented because we don't know, we can't be trusted to lead. And what we have now is a representation of that we cannot be trusted to lead. I don't care what you say. I don't care. You say, oh, give them a chance. Oh, no. We all out of chances. We all out of time. We all out of chances because we are all sitting here fighting high taxes. We are all sitting here about to fight a food crisis, a healthcare crisis. We all out of chances and we all out of time. This is the time we got to do something, say something, and just be about business. Don't take it personal. See, these people are taking things personally out here. When personally, I'm just trying to get my government to be responsive to me paying my taxes. That's it. This is about, I don't like you. I don't like her. I don't care if you don't like me. I'm not here for you to like me. Ain't that what Miss Roberts said? I'm here to be heard. Because that's what my vote affords me. That's what the taxes I pay afford me. The right to be heard. Correct, Paul. They don't want any oversight. They don't want public comment. They don't want oversight. If you tell the truth, you being critical. If you make a comment that is truthful, you're being critical, and it's always negative. Miss me with the BS. Stop making excuses and do your job properly. Do what you campaigned on. Collectibles for sale by? There may not be right now. There may not be right now. That's unfortunate. But the people that they are friends with, a lot of them will suffer. And if they're real friends, they'll tell them, friend, what you doing? Diabolical. For me, I don't care what Napoleon does. At the end of the day, he's a senator, but he's one person. There are a board of people who live their life just like I do. They pay their taxes just like you do. They buy their groceries like you do. They shop where you shop because they live where you live. At the end of the day, this is a board issue. This is not a supervisor issue because he already has the mindset that he's above us because he's a senator. So this is a board issue. This is not the supervisor issue. This is a board issue. This is the same situation when Tiffany was there. It took the board flipping over in order to stop the nonsense. And we're not actually, I don't even believe that we're actually asking anybody to be flipped over. We're asking for what they promised. We're asking for transparency. We're asking for responsible government. That's what we're asking for. We're not asking for anybody to be removed at this point. And I don't even think that's necessary. I think that it is necessary for these board members to start acting responsibly and transparently and saying, no, we didn't even get this in time. I make a motion that we table that until the next agenda or to the next meeting. Or no, I still have questions. Would you like to hear my questions now? Is there someone available to answer? Because that's what we need. We need to show America, the world, our community that we can be trusted to lead, that we can be trusted to keep the public in mind and not keep myself in mind. I'm so glad I don't be worried about how many friends I got or who this and who that, baby. I will run these streets by myself if it come down to it. Because at least I know I will have my own back. But the longer we let these local governments stay corrupt and we let these local governments not be a true representation of its constituents, the longer we're going to stay in this mess. The longer they're going to have a case to say they ain't smart enough to lead. They can't even come together and fix anything. They can't even come together and pass anything. This is so disappointing on so many levels. How can you debate someone about redistricting when you have local governments that have the representation that they're trying to get rid of doing this to their own communities? That aside, the supervisor claims that he has a plan for whatever is about to happen on November 1st. I hope he does, because if the pantry only feeds 300 people and he said that to the tune of 382 million, that may be a large number of SNAP benefits being cut off, these townships are about to be overrun. It will be more than 300 people in these lines. And when you run out of food, what will happen? Where would you send them? Where would they go? Huh? $12 million worth of salaries, $4 million worth of services. We only serve 300 people for 17 municipalities, and the federal government is shut down. And November 1st, Link will not, SNAP benefits, EBT benefits will not go out to the families that need it. Please let us know what the plan is. We should know the plan ASAP. There should be something posted on this website as of by the end of the week, letting people know what the plan is, because the 1st is coming fast. The 1st is on Saturday, right? Right. On May 19th, Mary Avant publicly told residents to call her out if she was not transparent or accountable. Well, you might want to be careful, because that person is a part of a group that will attack you for doing what she told you to do. Huh? Me, I don't care nothing about it. I don't care nothing about them. I don't care nothing about her. The board as a whole needs to address these inefficiencies in this administration. And they need to start asking themselves some really hard questions. Some really hard questions. Is this the reputation I want to leave? Is this the legacy I want to leave behind? Do I want my neighbors to be talking behind my back while smiling to my face? Because this is what we do. We get a little fake smiles. And then when they turn around and say, child, she horrible. I'm not doing none of that. I'm not doing any of that. No, you need to get your together. Use your own brain. Start thinking and asking these questions that need to be asked in the public. Give us the discussion. Just let us know, hey, these were my questions. These were my concerns. Speak for yourself. You don't have to speak for everybody. Speak for yourself. When they ask for discussion, get on that mic and say, well, I just want to speak for me. Speaking for me, these are the questions that I had. They were answered in this way, and these are my feelings about it. And who gonna check me? Because I was elected to this seat just like you was. Even if you gonna vote yes, even if you still gonna vote yes, at least tell us why. Give us some sort of discussion. We don't want people arguing. We don't want drama. We don't want that. We want to hear intellectual discussions are being had. That's all. But anywho, those are my thoughts. The supervisor for me was in the building. He is purposely making an environment where people not come to the meetings. And that's sad because as a Black man representing the Black community, you should be wanting everybody to participate in government because it's what's best for the Black community to be involved and be at the table and be in these conversations. Right now, we have the Thornton Township being run as a Senate committee. That's what we have. But whatever. Y'all go off. Keep saying I'm crazy. Keep saying you don't like me. Guess what I'm going to keep doing? Telling the truth. You ain't paying me no how. No one is playing this platform. No one is paying this platform. I go where I want, when I want. I talk about who I want, how I want. And that's from now on, and that's period. They do. The townspeople need to speak up and ask them to hold themselves accountable. They do. But people are tired. They've been fighting for 4 years. They turned around and they fought. And now only to figure out the people they was fighting with don't know what happened to them. But to let them tell it, YouTube is not a real place. Let me address this. To let these people tell it in some of these off meetings that they're having, they're saying the YouTubers are outsiders. They're saying that YouTube lie and Facebook lie. Well, I want to know when we started lying. Did we start lying when you was on our platforms? When we was helping you get Tiffany out of office? Or did we start after you got in office? Tell us when we started lying. Let me give you some other little known facts. Don Lemon, Joy Reid, Roland Martin, we'll say Jimmy Fallon, all of these people have been kicked off the national networks for telling the truth and being transparent and have now had to come to these platforms that you say are lying. They've had to come to YouTube, to Twitch, to Twitter, to all of these off platforms in order to get the truth out. You have KBLA, Tavis Smiley, Jesse Jackson Jr. You have all of these people now, Joy Reid, Don Lemon, Roland Martin. You have all of these people now on YouTube setting platforms. And now they're out here putting out the real truth to the community, unrestrained. Stop going out there saying that these platforms are lying, that there's lies. Are there lies out here? Yes. Stop using that as a scare tactic to have people not watch platforms like mine, like Don Lemon, like Joy Reid, like Roland Martin, like Tavis Smiley, like KBLA. Stop doing that. You are hurting the Black community, because this is where you can get your information, the truth, unedited, unauthorized. This is where you're now getting the truth. That is so disrespectful, because at a time when you needed someone to give you a voice and get your message out there, this is what this platform did. This is what YouTube as a whole did. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. This is how the message got out. Because the networks are only going to come when it's drama. The networks are only going to come when it's something huge. But you had YouTubers constantly putting out information and constantly reporting and going to meetings. Stop doing that. This is why they are looking at us like we cannot lead, because we cannot even come together and agree that there are platforms out here that are very helpful, very informational. We're going to run down us if don't nobody else do it. Stop saying they doing it. Stop saying the Republicans are doing it. No, they're not doing it. We are. We need to get ourselves together first. We need to hold ourselves accountable first. This is something that's going to be conquered from the inside out, not the outside in. Hey, Black Pearl, how are you? I plan to give the family a holiday dinner this year instead of buying frivolous gifts that my family probably don't need anyway. Black Pearl, I will come. I have a giving situation that I would like to put to this platform to help me do. It's something that I participate in every year. I did it last year. I do not broadcast what I do. When I do things for people, I do not broadcast it. I do not tell it. I do not ask you to come here and help. Now, the people in my private community, they know certain things I have asked them to do or help with. But as far as on a larger scale, on my public platform, I don't come out here and tell what I do, and I don't be asking for help like that. But there is something that I would like to do this year. And let me tell you, ever since I've had children, my oldest is 18. I've never received a Christmas gift or a birthday gift. So gifts to me, I don't get them. So when the holidays come, because I never get anything, and my children are small. My 18-year-old, she doesn't work. I pay for her to go to private school, so she's still in high school, so she doesn't have income coming in. So I make sure that my kids are taken care of, and I never worry about me. And that's fine. And this year will be no different, but I'd like to do something on a larger scale for a group of people, and we'll talk about that. That'll be a special video that I'm going to do and ask for you all's help. You can participate or not. of the people that are watching or that will watch this video, you'll go over there and participate at other platforms and not see anything for it. But I promise you what, when we did the firefighter thing where I asked you guys to, I made a wish list for them and I asked you guys to buy the games and things. I posted pictures on the community wall to show you that everything that you sent went directly to them. This will be no different. There will be total transparency over here. And I will be employing some people that live here, that watch this platform. I will have them oversee me, and they will be helping in the disbursement of this holiday giving thing that I want to do. Because I won't benefit from any of it, and I don't care. Because my family is taken care of, and I love that for me and them. But some of these other people that we're going to talk about, I don't know. But I want to make sure that their children are not affected. So we'll talk about that. But that's my wrap up for Thornton Township. I know y'all have sat here and listened to me rant and rave for an hour and 45 minutes. Child, I'm done. Y'all have any questions for me? Tomorrow we're going to go over the Harvey meeting, but we're going to have a little bit more in depth. Okay, because I have a few more things to share with you. But the next time somebody, tries to insult you about in your community about SNAP, please give them the facts. Because just because you only see the Black community on the TV talking about SNAP does not mean that they are the majority of the ones receiving it. These news outlets have platforms, have agendas too. The way the economy is right now, I'm not playing into the commercialization of the holidays. If SNAP is not giving out, people going to need food. Exactly. I woke up this morning to a message from a single mom who had lost her job, and she was like, I'm going to lose my apartment. I said, why should you do that? You should go to the township. They have rental assistance. You should go to your municipality. They may have rental assistance. If not, they can point you in the right direction. There are some other opportunities, Catholic charities out here. Go and seek out these places. Don't wait. Go and seek out these places and get this assistance. And that's what I would say to anyone. Go to that Walmart app. Dinner Made Easy is the title. Click it. They have meals there for under $10. It gives you the list of groceries that you need to pick up to do it. I've done it several times and still doing it. We'll be doing it tonight for my children. Okay? I mean, we're going to have to sacrifice during this time. This is what it is. People have an opportunity to really use the township. Yeah. And they should. They are about to be forced to use the township because the municipalities, they're 20,000 strong or 40,000. Sometimes in some places they 58,000 strong, right? So that's what the townships were made for, to give services that would take some of the burden off of the municipalities. But if we salary heavy, how are we doing that? Gonna be some rude awakening this week. Well, really next week, because the first is on Saturday. Because these people don't believe fat meat greasy until it happened. But whatever. Anybody else have any questions for me? Wednesday, we're going to do the recap of Harvey. I got quite a bit of information to share and we talk about. We're going to talk about some things in regards to what happened. And then you guys might start seeing a lot more videos drop from me versus lives. because, like I said, there has been an assault on this platform for whatever reason. And it takes a lot to do these lives. It takes a lot of research time. It takes a lot of effort to do these things. You know, that's what I'm gonna say about that right now. My private community, I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow night. We are gonna do the John Kasperick deposition. I have it. We're gonna read it like we did the Tangianite Miller, and we're gonna find out what he said and what was said. Huh? Oof, Lord. We have really been doing some things in that private community. And so we're gonna start that on Thursday night or afternoon. I'm probably gonna do a 4 o'clock. And then you can just watch the replay if you want to. Okay? Listen, thank you guys for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. Get the information out, but get the correct information out, okay? We're not slandering anybody over here. We're not talking about anybody. We're talking about government and the responsibility of the government and those that represent us, period. Don't matter who in the seat. I don't care who sits there. I will be saying the same thing about anybody that sits there. Okay? Good night, Deb Hill. Thank you guys for tuning in. Even those that don't like me. Thank you.